Morning, everybody. Nate Eden here outside the Madison County Courthouse in Rexburg. Jordan Wood is with me today, and we have a hearing for the Chad Daybell case in about 30 minutes. This is a big hearing because Chad's attorney, John Pryor, has asked to withdraw from the case. He filed a motion last week saying, I need off the case. The state is objecting to the withdrawal. Pryor says he needs to be off the case for mainly two main reasons. One, he says he's not a death penalty certified attorney, and he's tried to find co-counsel and he can't find them. And two, Chad Daybell's out of money. He says his client can no longer afford to keep him on, and because of that, he's asking to withdraw. It should be an interesting hearing. It's the only item on the agenda today, and there will be some questions from the state. And there's a couple of things that you want to keep in mind during this hearing and throughout the day. One, John Pryor has never flat out said in his filing that he is ineffective counsel. If he says he cannot represent his client, that he's ineffective, then you can bet the judge is going to let him off. Two is that this has been a death penalty case since pretty much the indictment came down in May of 2021. So it's not like this is new information. John Pryor has known all along that this is a death penalty case. Now, he said in his filing he's tried to bring on co-counsel who are death penalty certified, but he hasn't had any success. But he's never brought up this issue before to the judge, at least in open court. Perhaps behind closed doors, we don't know. Three is the money issue. Well, we know that John Pryor is a privately retained attorney, and that Chad Daybell likely would have had to put up a significant amount of money in the beginning. John Pryor also owns Chad Daybell's home right now. Daybell's children are still living in that home, likely paying rent to Pryor. So you could look at over the course of the past 2 or 3 years, what has he been paid? We don't know. But he's basically saying, my client is now indigent. He filed a motion last year, John Pryor, about this, saying that Chad Daybell was indigent and couldn't afford him. But now this issue is being raised again. The timing, of course, has a lot of people wondering what's going on here. The trial was supposed to begin April 1st in Ada County. Why did he file this now when really nothing has changed, at least publicly that we know of, since Lori went to trial last April? There hasn't been any significant developments over the past year or so. Why didn't he file this last year? Why was it filed so close to the trial? And the other question a lot of people have is, remember how John Pryor successfully argued to get these cases severed, Lori and Chad's cases severed, because of that DNA that he wanted tested. They were waiting on that DNA sample. It wasn't in. Lori didn't waive her right to a speedy trial, so they had to go. Well, that DNA that he said he wanted was never tested. So he got the trial severed, but the DNA was then never tested. So there's a lot of questions. I think the prosecutors will bring a lot of this up today. They did file a motion last night, again, objecting to having John Pryor withdrawn from the case. And they will both argue today. Pryor will argue why he should be removed. The state, Lindsay Blake, will argue why he shouldn't. Judge Boyce could rule from the bench. I would imagine he might, given the timing of this. But you can bet if Judge Boyce says, okay, you're off the case, John, there's no way this trial's happening in April. 2 new attorneys will get appointed, like it happened in Lori's case once Mark Means was off. Jim Archibald and John Thomas got appointed. 2 others will be appointed, and then this trial likely won't happen for at least a year. It's a death penalty case. There's a lot at stake here, and the attorneys need to be, competent and ready to go. So that's what's expected to happen today. If you're just tuning in, Chad Daybell hearing starts at 10 a.m. John Pryor arguing why he should be able to withdraw from the case. The prosecutors arguing that he should stay on. Some people are asking, well, can't the judge force him to stay on? I guess the judge could, but then that becomes a big issue on appeal. If it goes to the appellate court, they're going to say, listen, from the beginning, the attorney said he couldn't represent him, but the judge forced him to stay on. I don't know if Judge Boyce would do that. You have to be careful with appeals. So Anyway, that's what's happening here. Jordan, does anybody have any quick questions that you can see?
Where can they watch the hearing?
Oh, perfect question. Wherever you're watching this now, if you're watching it on my page, we'll have it here at 10 o'clock, eastidahonews.com. It will also be on our YouTube channel and the East Idaho News Facebook page. So we're going to cut in here probably in about 10 minutes. We'll start the feed, but the hearing won't begin until 10. No idea how long it will last. Again, it's the only thing on the agenda. Excuse me. So it might just be about an hour, maybe a little longer. Any other questions?
Here's one I have. So if John Pryor does have to stay on the case, will the trial still happen in April?
That's a great question, because he notes in that filing that even if he stayed on the case, there's not enough hours in the days. He would have to spend every moment preparing, and he says he still wouldn't be ready. So his argument basically is, I'm not going to be ready for trial in April. I need to be off the case because Chad's out of money, and I'm not death penalty certified. You know, he's had that whole extra year to prepare for the trial. So Judge Boyce could say, how can you not be prepared from last year? But yeah, he's arguing he wouldn't be ready. And so, you know, I don't know. That's another interesting thing. Today at 4 on Mountain Time, I'm going to do a courtroom insider and break down everything that happened today, and I'll be happy to answer any of your other questions that you have. So be sure to tune in for that if you're interested in this. And then again at 10 o'clock here in about 20 minutes, we're going to go live. By the way, it's Jordan's birthday. Jordan, how old are you turning?
32.
32. And he's spending his birthday outside the courthouse at a Chad Daybell hearing. Hey, I spent my birthday in Lori Vallow's trial, so we're celebrating. We have a bond.
Yeah.
I will say, and Jordan could attest, it's actually quite warm today considering what we've had. It's 24 degrees, which it feels, and the sun's out. The past few days have been bitterly cold, so I'm not like dying. Are your hands okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I was worried the other day. We were outside for like 5 minutes and I couldn't feel my fingers, but
Right.
I'm doing okay now. So
Yeah, the worst thing for a cameraman is, or camera woman, is to hold the camera in the winter, and big heavy gloves, you can't shoot, so it can be tricky. All right, well, thank you for watching. I'm going to head inside right now to the courthouse. Join us live 10 a.m. for the hearing, and then we'll be back at 4 o'clock this afternoon for a recap.